Hello, everyone. Today, I have an amazing story for you. It's not just for your listening practice, but also to inspire you. Eleanor Whitmore had lived in London all her life. Yet the city always felt too large, too cold, too indifferent. By day, she worked as a copy editor for a publishing house near the Strand, polishing other people's words, while her own half-finished manuscripts lay forgotten in drawers. By night, she walked alone along the Thames, chasing inspiration in the way the city lights rippled on the water. One September evening, on one of those solitary walks, fate interrupted her loneliness. She was standing near Waterloo Bridge when a voice broke the silence. "You look like you're waiting for the river to answer back." She turned, startled, to find a man standing just a few feet away. Tall, broad-shouldered, his dark hair tousled by the wind. He wore a charcoal coat, his hands tucked casually in his pockets, yet his eyes, gray, sharp but warm, studied her with the kind of curiosity she'd only ever written about. "I wasn't waiting for anything," she replied, defensive. He smiled. "Then you've never really listened to the Thames. It has secrets, you know." His name was James Harrington, a barrister by profession, but something in his demeanor suggested he carried more poetry than law inside him. They spoke for hours that night, standing by the river until the chill drove them into a small cafe that stayed open past midnight. From that evening, their lives intertwined. Days became weeks, and weeks blurred into stolen moments. Coffee in the morning before work. A walk through Hyde Park where fallen leaves brushed against their shoes. A rainy afternoon spent in an old bookshop in Bloomsbury, where he teased her for reading romance novels. "You don't strike me as the damsel in distress type," he'd said, grinning. "And you don't strike me as the knight in shining armor type," she'd shot back. But deep down, Eleanor felt something different in him, something she couldn't name. He wasn't saving her, nor was she saving him. They were simply finding each other. Their chemistry was undeniable. Every glance carried weight. Every accidental touch lingered. At a dinner one night, in his flat in Kensington, she noticed how his fingers brushed hers as he poured the wine. The touch was fleeting, but it set her pulse racing. After dessert, as she stood by the window, James approached quietly, his presence wrapping around her like warmth. "Eleanor," he whispered, his voice lower than she'd ever heard it. "I haven't wanted anything this much in a long time." Her breath caught as he tilted her chin toward him. His kiss was soft at first, testing, but when she responded, his hand slid gently to the back of her neck, deepening it. The world outside blurred. Only his lips, his touch, his nearness existed. There was romance, but beneath it, something raw pulsed. Desire, longing, the hunger of two souls meeting at last. She felt his heart beating against hers as if the universe had orchestrated this collision. That night, they didn't rush. There was no hurried stripping of barriers, only closeness. His arms held her as they sat on the couch, her head resting against his chest, their breaths tangled. Sometimes, intimacy wasn't measured in how far two people went, but in how deeply they allowed themselves to be seen. Autumn turned to winter, and love deepened like red wine aging in quiet shadows. They quarreled, of course, over work, over her stubborn independence, over his inability to step away from his long hours at court. Yet every fight ended the same way, with him pulling her close, pressing a kiss against her temple, murmuring, "Don't walk away from me, Eleanor. I can't lose you." And she never did. On New Year's Eve, as fireworks burst over the Thames, James took her hand and whispered, "You once said the river never answers back, but tonight, it's telling me something." She looked at him, her heart already racing. "And what's that?"